What if I told you the Bible you know hides stories you were never taught? Black kings, African warriors, forgotten heroes? The Israelites were more connected to Africa than history ever dared to tell you. Stay with me, because once you hear these shocking facts, you'll never see the Bible the same way again. Moses likely looked African. When Moses fled Egypt, he found refuge in Midian, which is modern-day Saudi Arabia, but when he later rescued Zipporah, she and her family were called Cushite, Numbers 12:1. Cushite is directly tied to Africa, specifically Sudan and Ethiopia, suggesting Moses was not pale-skinned but darker in complexion. The Israelites were mistaken for Egyptians. Multiple times in the Bible, Hebrews are mistaken for Egyptians, like in Genesis chapter 50 verse 11, Exodus chapter 2 verse 19, and Acts chapter 21 verse 38. Ancient Egyptians were predominantly brown to black-skinned Africans, which shows the Israelites were physically similar enough to be confused with them. The Ethiopian eunuch was one of the first Christian converts. In Acts chapter 8, verses 27 to 39, Philip meets an Ethiopian official who is reading Isaiah. He becomes one of the first Gentile believers, a black African at the very beginning of the Christian church. Cushites held high positions in Israelite kingdoms. Ebed-Melech, a Cushite official, saved the prophet Jeremiah from death, as recorded in Jeremiah chapters 38 and 39. He was so righteous that God promised him personal deliverance during Jerusalem's destruction. Some of David's army commanders were black. In the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 18, the messenger who brings David news of Absalom's death is described as a Cushite, meaning he was a black African serving closely under King David. Many early Israelites lived and married in Africa. Abraham lived in Egypt temporarily. Joseph ruled in Egypt and married an Egyptian woman, as mentioned in Genesis chapter 41, verse 45. Moses married Zipporah, a Cushite woman. Many of the founding figures of Israel had deep African ties. Prophecies mention black nations worshipping God. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10 says, "From beyond the rivers of Cush my worshippers, the daughter of my dispersed ones, will bring my offering." Cush, which is modern-day Sudan and Ethiopia, is central to God's future plan of worship, not excluded, but honoured. King Solomon welcomed the Queen of Sheba, an African monarch. The Queen of Sheba, likely from Ethiopia or Yemen, visited Solomon, bringing vast wealth and wisdom. As noted in the book of 1 Kings chapter 10, verses 1 to 13, this visit was a significant event. Ancient Ethiopia was known for powerful black queens, and Jewish Ethiopian traditions claim royal bloodlines trace back to her. Many early Jews in Africa remained after the Exodus. Large Jewish communities formed in places like Elephantine in Egypt and Ethiopia well before New Testament times. This suggests a long-standing black Israelite presence in Africa, not a migration that happened centuries later. God himself honours Cush by name. Isaiah chapter 18 verses 1 and 2 speaks of Cush with high regard, a land of tall, smooth-skinned people who will one day send tribute to God. Rather than condemning or excluding African peoples, the Bible consistently elevates them as part of God's redemptive plan. Black history isn't just in the Bible, it's woven into the very heart of God's story for humanity. If these hidden stories inspired you, don't let them stay hidden. Smash that like button to push this truth out to the world. Hit subscribe and turn on all notifications, because we're just getting started uncovering the real history behind the Bible. And drop a comment below. Which of these facts shocked you the most? Let's awaken the world, one story at a time. Black history is Bible history. Subscribe to rediscover the truth.